Hi, Jay Frederick Smith here, Continental Realty of Jackson. We are at 217 East First Street in Springfield neighborhood in sunny Jacksonville, Florida. And we're going to be heading on in here to look at this house. Just over 3,000 square feet, 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, and currently basically down to the studs. So let's just go in and have a look. First thing, I do see that there's been a fair amount of damage to the original wood floors. That's what you're seeing here. And as you can see, you've got either termite or rot damage. That's not uncommon considering the age of this home. It's 100 years old or so. We have to expect something like that. Really, probably what you're going to do is get these floors sealed up and then put something over the top of them. Big, nice stone fireplace in what would be the living room. Very interesting with the chimney sweeping to the left as it does. Windows have been boarded, kind of boarded with a door here on the inside. And then the ceiling is probably 11 or 12 feet up. This should be a tray ceiling similar to what we have in the hallway, or maybe you could turn it into one large tray. In either case, a tray ceiling is definitely going to be what it is that you want to kind of restore that back to the original look of the home. There's some difference in floor height here. I'm not sure the reason, but as you can see when we get close here, that this flooring here is about 4 inches below this flooring here. And I think probably what needs to happen is these planks will need to come out and some new planks put in with some level management in order to get these floors back to the way they are. The floor joists up above substantially have been replaced, probably because of termites. Looks like we have a lot of termite damage up in here. And, you know, that is unfortunately something that's going to happen with an older home like this. There is absolutely going to be termite damage. There's nothing you can do about that because they didn't have the ability to abate termites then when this house was built like we do today. With that said, you know, that does not mean that the house is falling down. It just means that underneath the outer sheath of the wall, the studs and whatnot will have holes in it. It does impact the ability of that, of course, to hold weight, but not so much, mostly not so much, that it would cause the house to collapse or anything like that. What you just need to do is make sure that you put in some good wood beside it, like they've done here. Just put in some good wood beside it if it's bad, if it's really bad, and then you're going to be set. Now, we're probably going to have some issues underneath here too. I can see a concrete footer here that these planks I'm standing on don't actually reach out to. That's probably the reason why we've got this sloping, is that they're not all the way to that concrete footer. But you definitely are going to need to take out these planks and replank the living room floor and do any repairs that you need to underneath while you have that open. Okay? Don't ask me what you're going to need to do to restore the fireplace. I certainly would not be able to answer that question. Windows would need to be replaced. I see another, is that a chimney? What the heck is that? Not sure what that is, but there's some kind of a thing there. Maybe it's a vent that's in the wall there. Plumbing from up above. And the way that they've hung this plumbing in means that you're going to have that ceiling drop down a little bit lower in order to be able to hide the plumbing in there. Now you could pull that plumbing out since we've got so much open and do that again so that you don't have quite so much plumbing, sticking down like it does. There's ways that you could do that, including this run that's here running it between the two joists, and then at the closer to the wall run it over, and then you could put in some kind of a crown or something to hide that. That would be one way that you possibly could take care of this issue. Now, I don't know what this little stub wall was here for. Maybe there was a closet or something in this corner. Not sure. But in any case, let's go ahead, and I'm going to move across the hall. I'm not going into the kitchen yet. And across the hall, what we've got is another very large fireplace. that has been sheathed in some kind of wood material. As you can see, it's also stair steps a little bit there on the right, but this is probably the main chimney. This looks like it was gas. So you've got what appears to be a gas line in here, and this chimney has definitely been used quite a lot recently because we've got all of that char in there. So that's very interesting to see. The brickwork on the chimney is not cracked or broken, although the mortar is, ugly. It's because this was never meant to be exposed. This chimney was not meant to be exposed. So resheathing it in some material would be the right thing to do. Now looking up here, you can see all the knob and tube wiring with the little ceramic insulators as it goes through the different joists. You don't see that very often. That is really quite unusual to see that. But of course, you don't want to use any of that. What you can do, however, is since that's there, you can pull the wire out and you can run in your Romex through those openings and save yourself some hassle. Since they're already cut, there's nothing you can do about that. You should be able to get away with running that in. Now, what we've got here for a water line, as you can see, there is a water line here, and that's copper. It goes down here to this end. I'm not sure exactly what was in this room before, but there was definitely some plumbing happening in here. And of course, with the big fireplace, it seems like this would be a den or a library or something. Why would you need water? I don't know. But it's definitely here. Maybe this is going to be where the kitchen is. You, of course, get to decide that since this is kind of one of those open slate properties. The floors don't look nearly as bad as the floors in the living room. With that said, there is still some holes and some places where material will have to be replaced. And you're probably still going to want to level this with the rest of the floors by putting some kind of a top coat, plywood sheathing or OSB, and then putting some new floors down over that as well so that you can get the same kind of flooring look throughout the main body of the house. Now, with at this doorway here, as you can see, there is an opening in the walls, in the doorway itself. That's because if you look here, you can see some runners. This is for some large pocket doors, which are now missing. I don't know where they are, but the runners are still there. You'll have to probably replace those runners. If you want to put the pocket doors back in place, you'll have to remove those runners most likely and just restart from the beginning as far as the pocket doors go. But I think that's a great idea, something that you probably should do simply because, then it would be matching closer to what it was originally. Living room space is maybe 22 by 30 feet. Nice sized living room with a 12-inch base designed, probably specifically for this house. Hard to match that, but with a little work you'd probably be able to, or at least get close to it. You just have to take a piece to your local mill, and they could probably figure out a way to match that for you when the time came, if you were going to be interested in doing that. Now, I'm going to go into the kitchen over here. I think that's what that is. But first, I want you to look at the staircase. Now, this has been painted. This was originally stained wood, not a painted wood. And the rails and the wall, which would be just on the other side of that, are missing. The rails, if you look here, are crooked. There is definitely some kind of a slope, a little bit of slope anyway, either to the rail itself or to the floors. I can't really tell for sure, but there is quite a lot of damage back in the flooring this direction, and we'll get to that here in a minute. So what you do have still here, though, is the original corner post and rail for this staircase with all of the parts, looks like, included, although they are definitely in need of some work. You're missing a couple there. There's one here. This was where this wood is. There was one, and some of these are damaged on the bottom, and they need to be reset. But with that said, you have them, which means that you can get them in and get them turned to match and get them back to their original grandeur. Now, there is a large steel grate here that is up. And if you look where that was, you can see that once upon a time, that was where the the air intake for the air handler is at. That's what this is. That's why you've got that curved cutout there, but it's full of debris right now. That's all going to have to be cleaned out. Maybe you could still use that ductwork. I'm not sure, but I do see there's vents in the floor in other places. So, you know, if the ductwork is solid, that would be something that might be worth thinking about. You have some, looks like ductwork going up the walls here. I'm pretty sure that's what that is, galvanized ductwork. And how you want to approach that, I don't know. But let me look at or show you one last thing while we're looking at the staircase, and that is you do have some damage here. Some of this material is definitely shot. Once again, this is termite damage. And so getting in these stairs and getting them replaced or repaired is something that you're going to want to have to do. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to have to pull out all of the stair treads or any of that. You might not have to, although some of these treads have been replaced. How do I know? Well, look at this one here. You'll see how this has got this beveled corner. This is the original stair tread here with a rounded face and this beveled corner. You see that? Now, look what we have right below it. And I see this is rough cut and squared off with no bevel, and also it's quite a lot thicker. Okay, so some of these treads have been replaced. Actually, quite a few of them have been replaced. This is not new work. This has been here for a long time. So, you know, depending on how you want to approach it, you could pull these stair treads up and rebuild them in the original fashion, or, you know, you could go the other way and leave these in, flatten them out, smooth them out a little bit, and just replace the few that are the original look with something that is a little more common stock, which save you some money, and it probably wouldn't be too different from what it was originally. But so the backings of these are definitely going to want to be redone, because, as you can see here, we do have quite a lot of damage, at least in some of these. Okay. All right. So let's go into, this is going to be a long video, I can tell. Let's go into what was the kitchen, or I think what was the kitchen. I think that because there's this giant stainless steel counter and sink in here. This is a commercial grade stainless counter and sink. Probably has some doors on the front. Let's take a look. Well, it's just shelving. It's just shelving underneath there. But you get the idea. So if this is your kitchen space, well, it is a gigantic space for a kitchen. Lots of knob and tube wiring in the walls. You can see that. Still have our 12-foot high ceilings. There was a place here for a chandelier to hang down at one point in time, or some form of lighting. You can see the galvanized. You can tell it's galvanized plumbing because it's rusted here. You can see that. And where does this go? Comes right down here to this little spot. I don't know what would happen with it after that. But, you know, since this is all open, it's the perfect time to tear that all out and get in some nice PVC or some other kind of plumbing that is closer to what would be code. These walls are open, which is you know, a lovely opportunity to not only put the walls back in correctly, but also correct and bring up to code older things such as wiring and plumbing. Saves you a lot of time when the walls are open. The guys can do this whole room, and you know, as far as that part of it goes, in less than a day probably. Now, I'm not sure what's going on here. I'd have to have a look at the outside, but it looks like those are the cement blocks, the backs of the cement blocks that we're seeing here through the wall. So that stone might be just a fascia, since we've got a lot of wood in here. And this is definitely the original wood planks. These are the original wood 2x4s. And a lot of this wood looks really good, really solid. Now, here's something interesting. They cut this out, but they left in the window casement. You see, they cut it out, but the window casings are in. And in order to fix these window casings so that they're good again, you're going to have to take them out. When these windows come out, the casings are going to have to come out too, and they're going to have to be cleaned up or replaced and matched. Oh, well, let me show you something really interesting here. Some of this is built with rounded timbers. Look at this. You've got some rough cut logs used in this for support, which is really interesting to me. You don't see that anymore. No, you just don't. So the kitchen space is maybe 18 by 24 in size with lots of big picture windows to let in lots of light, 12-foot high ceilings, big open doorway with the pocket doors. Now look at here. You've got at least one of these pocket doors in place. I probably can't move it, but here is the door. It's in the wall, as you can see. It definitely is jammed in there. But getting that guy out and getting a look at it will really help you if you decide you want to match that for the other doorway there to whatever you want to call that over there. Both pocket doors are here, in fact. So that's going to definitely give you some ideas, if you can get those out, of what it is that you will need to do for bringing them back to the original, or something close to that, right? And maybe you're not interested in an original, and maybe you're just interested in having those doors out, and you certainly could do that too. Okay, so we're getting underneath the staircase here, and just so you can see, we do have rot. Well, and I say rot, but what I mean is termites. Of course, we knew that in the stair supports. So some of this is going to have to put some new material in here to basically reinforce what you've got. This still, it's not powder. It's not powder, but it is definitely lighter than it used to be. I can tell that there's some hollowness in there. And we've still got a lot of mud here from termites. So this was a pretty big termite nest right in this spot once upon a time. Yeah, look at this, right? Anyway, I'm not sure what this particular little room was, but I think you could use it for laundry or something. There is water lines and a drain right here. Maybe this could be like a bar area or some other little thing here. What we've got is just a little room off of what I think would be the kitchen that is maybe 10 feet by 10, maybe 10 by 10. I think it's 10 by 10. Ceiling height at 7.5 feet or maybe 8 feet. Lots of debris from something, probably termites, or maybe something else along with termites. Of course, still down to the studs, so it's all open. You could use it for whatever you want. I just was noticing, once again, that there's water. Now, I see PVC here, so I wonder how much work has actually been done on this house as far as the plumbing goes. I didn't see much yet, but that doesn't mean anything. Okay, so we're stepping into the hallway and the back door. The back door is been boarded shut, bolted, latched, because we don't want people coming in here and sleeping or trying to. This door definitely needs to be replaced. It is open. There's a transom that you can open. Once upon a time, you could open that up and let a little air in if you wanted to do that. And at least a chunk of the original trim is still in place, so you could do some restoration if that's what you wanted to do. Looking up above, we can see the termite damage on the second floor. So when we get up there, we're definitely going to have to be careful. There is a servant staircase over here to the second floor. We'll get to that. Flooring in the hallway back here is definitely spotty and rotten. We're going to try not to walk on that too much, but going straight back from the kitchen through that little whatever you want to call it, the bar area or whatever, butler's kitchen maybe, comes into kind of like a dead end space. This wall here is all new studs. And by new, I mean, not original equipment. And I would say probably that this all could come out and open with what we've got over here. There's what would be a closet for under the stairs in that corner, a doorway here, or you could just use this doorway here and just make this another lower floor bedroom with an ensuite bathroom, if that's what you wanted to do. Now there is another door that comes in here, but as you can see, it's once again down to the studs. The flooring definitely needs to come up and work needs to be done underneath. There's a lot of debris underneath there too, probably needs to be cleaned out. Windows need replacing. Ceiling joists are down. These are probably old style stick down tiles. That's what they look like to me. There's layers of them here. I'm not sure why there's layers. Probably they're not asbestos. I don't think so. But what I do notice is that there is a drain here, so I think that this was a bathroom at one point in time. I see a shower valve here, little shower head. So this could be a like your ensuite bathroom for a bedroom. Okay, it's definitely big enough for that. I just say, you know, probably want to pop another window in, get that door closed off, get these walls sealed up like they're supposed to be, you know, get some new ceiling joists up there, or do something to restore the ceiling and the lights. Looks like they put some wood up in there for a lower ceiling, but I think you could probably use the bottom of the floor joist if you wanted to do that for your ceiling. And then here we're looking at the outside, whatever that is, if it's the stonework, probably it's the stonework that we were looking at on the outside. So, yeah. This room is probably 12 feet by 10 feet. So with a change in the layout as far as where the water and the power come in, I think you could easily turn this into an ensuite. And then the only closet then would be over there. Or you could make this area here where this window is to the doorway, you could make it kind of a walk-in club, like a pass-through closet, and then into the restroom. That might be an idea. The bedroom then would be small, but it would have a nice size closet space. And or another thing that you could do would be to seal this doorway off here, seal this doorway off, open a door over here someplace, and then this corner could be a closet. You would have a floor space of about 5 by 5, so it could be a nice size non-walk-in closet. And then you could just pass through to the bathroom that way with some of these studs out. Just open the door up here. That's probably the way I would do it. Then at least the bedroom isn't going to be quite as small as it is right now. So that's the lower floor. We're going to take a quick look at the second floor here. First, I just wanted to have a peek underneath these stairs, the servant stairs, behind this chimney. As you can see, once again, lots of debris on the ground that'll need to come out. This really needs a cleaning, you know, as far as that kind of stuff goes. There is still lots of termite damage. We're seeing that everywhere. That's not surprising, once again. The termite damage is substantial in this house, though, unfortunately, which means that it has not been cared for as it should. I think we could tell that anyway. But don't let that scare you off, because just because there's termite damage, that does not mean that you'd be unable to restore that in a way that would make it decent. So there's a door up here on the top of the staircase. I'm not sure why, but I don't like the look of some of this material, so we're going to be careful as we're going up here, because some of this wood, as you can see, is pretty shot. Okay, feeling like I'm up to the second floor. All right, nervous going up there. Now their staircase continues up to the third floor loft, but I was warned against going up there. They didn't warn me against going up to the second floor, so I take that as a good sign. Here we are on the second floor. There has been some new sheath wood put down on the floors. There's definitely been some new Romex put in. The staircase is behind me, and we'll get to that in just a minute. But this is where the bedrooms are going to be. You're going to find we've got lots of large rooms here, including what would probably be the master, since you've got a nice fireplace there. What was over in that corner, I don't know. It's just probably just closed in, the sloping of the roof. We've got a small little closet here that goes up to where the servant staircase is. Can't really get that closet any bigger And I don't see another place really, unless what you could do maybe is, well, yeah, I was going to say you could run one along this wall here, but then that's going to steal that window, and that's not something you want to do. Now, the ceiling height in the upper floor is also 12 feet. Looks like we've got some new wood up here as well. Looks like, though, probably some of this is going to need to come out. They married in some 2x4s, and really these need to be 2x12s going in here to match what's already there. But big picture windows in the front. As you can see, we've got a giant hole in the wall here where a lot of the roof decking you can see has been replaced. That's good to see that, but there is a big giant hole in the wall here. Gonna have to get up there and get that sorted out. Then there's a doorway off that room here into this, like, I don't know what this would be, but some kind of a sitting room between the two bedrooms. This bedroom and probably what this would be is another bedroom as well. So some kind of a sitting room here between the two bedrooms with a nice big picture window. Alternatively, I guess you could turn this into a bathroom. Looks like maybe that's what it was originally once upon a time, so it'd be like a Jack and Jill. Since you do have the galvanized pipe and the drain here. Now this cast iron pipe, the standpipe, is a vent, but it could also be a drain. So that's okay. We can see some light through the walls. That's just, once again, a symptom of the siding issues that we have. And we can also still see a lot of the decking has been replaced. If you look up through here, through the 2x, you can see a lot of the roof deck has been replaced. That makes me feel pretty good about what we have on the roof itself. Now, the joists for the third floor, looking up, look better than the ones I've seen before, although there's still some damage. As you can see here, there's still some damage, but not to the extent that we saw in the lower floors. There is still some termite damage, even on the third floor here, you can tell, right? But that does not mean, once again, that this 2x4 is bad. If you're concerned about it, you just stuff another one next to it. It's not that big of a deal, especially with these floors open the way they are. Now here's an interesting thing. Number 8. So maybe this was used as a hotel or something like that. All right, now here's one thing that I'm concerned about. If you look here, you can see that doorway straight back there has a pretty crooked look to it, which means that there's some support someplace that's having a problem. And I think it's probably along this wall here, down below along this wall. Probably that needs to be jacked up. That's what I think. And the reason why I say that is that the floor at the top of the stairs also slopes in that same direction. From left to right, as I'm looking at it, the floor slopes towards that wall. So getting something under that wall, some jacks under that wall, raising that up maybe 3 or 4 inches is probably what's going to be necessary. And you're going to have to be really careful when you do that. I would also say that's the first thing that you got to do in this place. When you have an issue where you've got floors that have or structure that has is sagging down because of structural issues, and the house needs to be jacked up as a result, that needs to happen first. You don't want to do work until the house is level to the way you want it. Alternatively, you could take that out and just make it a wall over there instead of that doorway. I don't even know why it's a door, to be honest. And then what you could do is just leave the floor sloped, repair whatever it is that's underneath, that's the rotting section, and instead of trying to jack the house up, instead of jacking the house up, just repair it and leave it at with the slopiness like it is. With it being a historical property, the age of this house being 100 years old, that would probably be acceptable. When we go back in through this here, you can see, once again, we do have some new material that's been put in place. I don't know what the plan is. That's another thing. You've got an open canvas. You can kind of decide how you want this laid out. You can decide it. This obviously was a bathroom. We've got a GFCI outlet. There was probably a sink there. We've got a drain and some lines here. It doesn't look like there was a toilet, but probably a sink here too. There's the black toilet over there in that corner. Big walk-in shower. Brought it out. But the valves are still in place and the PVC is still in place. So that's nice. You know, you're going to want to have a plumber examine all that to see what it is that's going on with the plumbing in the house. Make sure it's all connected up, whether or not the cast iron that's in the walls is usable, or whether you're going to want to take those out. I'd leave those in, to be honest. You know, people say, oh, cast iron. But to me, if it's not in the ground, cast iron is going to last forever. So I would just leave that stuff in the ground, or leave that in the wall and take advantage of it, rather than trying to redo it. Now, this back bedroom, did I look at this one already? Door number 6, looks like. Nice big bedroom, not as big as the 2 at the front of the house. This would be a back bedroom, but it's still good sized at 18 feet by 22 feet. Easily fit a king bed in here and some other furniture if that's what you wanted to do. I can see also, as I'm looking up through the ceiling rafters, that a lot of the deck for the roof has been replaced, which, you know, with the amount of decking replaced, I'm starting to feel like the roof here is in good shape. That's what I think. Now, of course, I can't be sure, but that's what I feel like. The wood, here's an interesting feature. If you look up here, this is the main staircase coming up. And if you look over here, notice that you've got this curved wood here, so that you get an interesting look to the ceiling above the stairs. Now, once again, I don't know why this was open, but I would just seal that up. I'd pull all that material out and seal that up. That seems like the smartest move to me, since it's the staircase that door is above. What the original reason for that is, I don't know. So what we've got is 3 big bedrooms. This one, the one up across through all of that stuff there by that window. Then this one over here. Then you've got the servant staircase coming up. Then we've got probably like servants' quarters here in the back. The floors are pretty shot, so I'm going to be careful as I'm walking in here. You do want to be careful when you're dealing with this kind of a floor situation. And this is not a huge room, but it's definitely, maybe 15 by 18, so it's not tiny by any stretch, with a door to a restroom back that way. And then I don't know what this back space would be, but something. It's lower down. Maybe there's like even a little kitchen back here, so they would have their own. They'd have their own living space, kitchen, restroom. I don't know, maybe a secondary little bedroom over there, and then the main bedroom or the living room here. Maybe that's the bedroom, and this is the living room. That's what I bet that is. So you've got a living space. You've got a kitchen. You've got a restroom back here. And then you've got maybe a little tiny bedroom with a window and a door that goes to, God only knows why that's like that. I don't know. Okay, so door here going out to God only knows what. And this is at the second floor, so maybe there was some kind of a little deck or something there once upon a time. I don't know. This is a sunken floor. It's lower than the rest of the house. I don't know the reason for that either. Just an interesting feature. Some of the ceiling joists, as you can see here, are shot and will need to be replaced. But like we've seen everywhere else, the decking for the roof looks good. So the roof seems to be okay, but the ceiling joists, these little 2x6s or 1x6s that are up here to hold the ceiling in place, should come out and some 2x8s put up instead. You could rebuild all of that whole section there in that corner. There's not really anything there that is supporting anything, to raise that up to the more typical ceiling height, if that's what you wanted to do. I don't know what you would do about the floor height difference in here, but it's an interesting thing still that you've got, like a separate living quarters, and you could get the whole thing redone into its own little apartment, bedroom, kitchen, bathroom, main living space. Kind of interesting. Okay, well, once again, we are at 217 East 1st Street in the Springfield neighborhood in Jacksonville, Florida. That's the way I came up. Look at those stairs. Wow. I really did that. And this house is right now just over 3,000 square feet. As you can see, it's a beautiful giant home, but definitely needs a lot of work. Definitely needs a lot of work. There's a lot of interesting, quirky architectural features in this house, things that you don't see every day that are exposed here, including the arched wood in this doorway and over what would be the staircase back in the back corner over this big staircase. High ceilings on both floors. We're not going up to the third floor. There is a third floor. Okay, that's just the attic storage space up there, but it needs to be redecked because there's lots of big gaps, so dangerous to walk in. So that needs to probably come out, or deck material put in there so it's safe to get up for storing stuff up there. Although, when I look at it, it's not all bad. You know, a lot of that material is nice. Now that it's exposed from the underneath, you can see a lot of that is in good shape, but that's not the whole thing. So, and that also is not included in the square footage. So along with your attic storage space, you know, if you wanted to add that, it's probably another 500 or 600 square feet. That brings the house up, you know, to 3,600 square feet. And with that said, I'm going to get out of here before I put my foot through the floor someplace. And this is J. Frederick Smith, Continental Realty of Jax, 217 East First Street. If you're interested in this house or you have questions about it, anything that you would like to add, or specific questions about, you know, the structure, or things that would need to be done to renovate, please feel free to give me a call or contact me anytime. Always happy to help. And we're going to head out of here, and I'll see you at the next one.